She was really like annoying me, and I thought we were past that like for a few books now. And she's like, we'll be ready for it. No, you won't. Matt was like, I rescued Moiraine. And I was like, you know what? That's right. That is damn right. You did. And I was just like, shut the fuck up. And he always fails. So, like, I knew he would fail. I didn't mention this because honestly, I'm still trying to ignore it. Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another reading vlog where I'm gonna be reading A Memory of Light. So A Memory of Light is the 14th and last book in the Wheel of Time series, which is an epic fantasy series. And I have reading vlogs for the 13 previous books in my channel, so if you want to watch those before watching this one, I will link them all in the description, and I will also link a playlist up there. And like, I was so excited, but also so nervous and also like kind of sad to read this book because, it's the last one. It's the end of an era because I have been reading these books for so long and like they're part of my life now. And so, many emotions here. But yeah, I just want to say as well that there are definitely spoilers for what happens in this book, in this reading vlog. And having said that, let's just get into it. Okay, so I am on page 344 of A Memory of Light, and still in the prologue, I think, we see that Camelin is being attacked by Trollocs, and people start to trying to fight them, but they're just way too many, and then someone says that basically Camelin is lost, and then Rand wants to meet with like everyone, all the leaders of everywhere, and he wants them to sign a document which will basically be like, he calls it the Dragon's Peace. And he also is talking about, once again, breaking the remaining seals of the Dark One's prison to be able to seal it up again, like properly. And Egwene, once again, doesn't agree with that. And to be fair, like, I understand her point of view, especially because Rand didn't really explain to her why he wanted to do that. But also she was really like annoying me, and I thought we were past that like for a few books now. And while they are like discussing the seals, Rand is saying, if I go up against him and the seals are not broken, my only choice will be to create another imperfect solution. A patch even worse than the last time, because with the old, weakened seals there, I'll just be spreading new plaster over deep cracks. Who knows how long the seals would last this time? In a few centuries, we could have this same fight all over again. And Egwene is like, is that so bad? Like, at least it will work for some time and we won't fully release the Dark One and whatever. And Rand's like, we could end up with the Taint again. And she's like, we'll be ready for it. No, you won't. And Rand's saying, we're talking about entering darkness instead of founding another Age of Legends. We could have peace, an end to suffering. Or we could have another breaking. I don't know for certain if I could mend the seals or make new ones in the same way. The Dark One has to be ready for that plan. And so, like, he has another plan, which is killing the Dark One, which people think that is not actually possible, but that is the plan. And then Moiraine gets there and she kind of like starts saying a prophecy that makes everyone agree with what Rand is saying, and they start signing his document. But he also has to get this Yunchen to sign it, which will be the biggest struggle. And then Moiraine also tells Egwene that she will be the one to break the seals because like part of her title is to be the Watcher of the Seals. So she has to be the one to break them. And also Elaine is going to be like commanding the armies, and she still has the Horn of Valir hidden somewhere. and Fail is gonna make sure that it gets delivered to Matt. And so they are going to fight on like 4 different fronts. So they have Camelin, which is under attack. They also have the Borderlands, which is also under attack, and that is where Len is. And then also Kandor and Shayol Ghul, which is where the last battle, like the main event, is gonna be. And then Perrin enters the world of dreams, like physically enters it, which is very dangerous. And in there he finds Lanfear, and she tells him that she is no longer a Forsaken because the Dark One took that privilege away from her when he discovered that she was actually planning on helping Lewis Theron, so Rand, win the last battle. We also have like a whole situation happening in the Black Tower, which was already happening in the previous book, but I don't think I talked about it. But basically, Taim, who is sort of the guy who's in charge of the Ashaman and the Black Tower when Rand is not there, he is actually like in the dark side, and some of the Ashamen figured it out, and one of them particularly, who is like the guy we're following, I think is called Androl, and also an Aes Sedai who is called Pavara, I want to say. They are trying to basically save the Black Tower, and they also like bond each other as warders, which was really funny. And also they are like talking about the future and like the perfect future in which Ashaman and Aes Sedai will work together. And then they find Logain, and they're still like trying to turn him, which means like make him go to the side of the darkness and the Dark One and all that. And so like he's being kept very weak so they can try to like I said, turn him, but he is still himself. And then they start fighting, and then Androl opens a gateway for Logain to get out of the Black Tower, but we don't really know where he went, and Androl doesn't know where he sent Logain. He just hopes that it's somewhere safe. And then I think the last thing we saw was that Matt is in Ebudar trying to find Tuon, and he does find her, and he actually saves her from a gray man who was trying to kill her. And yeah, that is where we are at. And I mean, obviously a lot more things have happened, but I'm trying to focus on what I think are the main points. And I am loving this book, and also I'm loving Androl. I don't remember if he was in the previous book, like if he was already the person we were following in the Black Tower, probably was. But he's being like so iconic, and I'm loving him. Also, I forgot to mention, but Loyal is back, and I missed him because he's just so fucking precious, and I love Loyal so much. And he has been gone for so long, and there have been already so many fight scenes, and they're all so intense, and they're so good, and I am loving everything about it, except from the fact that like Matt isn't fighting, and he's always like iconic when he fights. So I'm just disappointed to not have him fight yet. I'm sure he will at some point, but so far there have been many fight scenes, and none really with him, except when he was like saving Tuon, but I hate Tuon, so I don't really care about that. And yeah, that is where we're at. This book is making me very excited, but also very nervous. But overall, I am absolutely loving it. And I will update again when I read another third. Okay, so I'm on page 677 of A Memory of Light, which means I am around 2/3 in. And one of the first things that happened after my last update was that Rand went to talk to Tuon to basically make a deal with the Seanchan, and he reunited with Matt first, which was like wholesome, but also really funny because they were like comparing all the great things that they have both done. Because also like Matt lost an eye and Rand lost a hand, and they were like, what did you do to your eye? A little accident. And your hand, lost it capturing one of the Forsaken. And then Matt was like, capturing, you were growing soft.
And then Rand like started it. Tell me you've done better. And Matt was like, I killed a golem. And Rand, I freed Ilian from Samael. And Matt, I married the Empress of the Xianchen. And Rand was like, are you really trying to like do this? He said, I claimed Sidon. And they continued with that. And then Matt was like, I rescued Moiraine. And I was like, you know what? That's right. That is damn right. You did. But anyway, he does make a deal with Tuan, and then he gets back to like all the people where he was before, and he learns that someone has stolen the seals from the Dark One's prison. And then some people start attacking, and they are the Sharans. And I think it's Egwene who says that they're even more baffling than the Aiel. And I was like, who the hell are those people? And then like their leader started saying, I am Bao the Wild, I am your savior, I have crawled through the depths of sorrow and have risen up to accept my glory. I have come seeking what was taken from me, remember that. And then like he continued to talk, and he was talking to Lian, who's one of the Aes Sedai, and he was saying, you are a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, beauty is meaningless. You are to deliver a message for me, Aes Sedai, to Lewis Theron, the one who calls himself the Dragon Reborn. Tell him that I have come to slay him, and in doing so, I will claim this world. I will take what originally should have been mine. Tell him that. Tell him you have seen me, and describe me to him. He will know me. Just as the people here awaited him with prophecy, just as they showered him with glory, the people of my land awaited me. I have fulfilled their prophecies. He is false, I am true. Tell him I will finally have satisfaction. He is to come to me, so that we may face one another. If he does not, I will slaughter and destroy. I will seize his people. I will enslave his children. I will take his women for my own. One by one, I will break, destroy, or dominate everything he has loved. The only way for him to avoid this is for him to come and face me. Tell him this, little Aes Sedai. Tell him that an old friend awaits. I am Bao the Wild, he who is owned only by the land, the Dragon Slayer. He knew me once by a name I have scorned, the name Barid Bel. And then Egwene is like overhearing this whole thing, and she recognizes the name Barid Bel, and basically Barid Bel is like now has another name and is one of the Forsaken. And speaking of the Forsaken, Perrin is like in the world of dreams, and he's trying to fight Slayer, like his enemy and the guy who keeps trying to kill the wolves. And he also sees one of the Forsaken, like another one there, invading people's dreams. And he doesn't really know like why he's doing that or like what that means. But then they learn that like everything is going wrong on all four battlefronts, and so they learn that the four generals are like under compulsion from that Forsaken. And so they are, taken out of their positions, obviously, and Matt is going to be the one leading like the whole army. And honestly, like I am so excited for that because Matt is iconic, like fighting, and I have been wanting him to fight this whole book because he was like in a little fight, but it was not enough, because every time he fights is incredible. And like I said, I am almost 700 pages in and he has barely fought, so I am very excited to see that. Also, Rand goes to like the place where he will face the Dark One, and he takes Moiraine and Nynaeve with him because they are gonna like kind of link, and the two of them are gonna give him like, or lend him whatever, their power so he can be stronger. And then we see Logain and the Ashaman joining the fight as well, and Andral still really iconic. I just really, really love him. And we also see, Avienda sees like Aiel, who are dark friends, and can channel, and they are very dangerous. And finally, I think the last thing that happened is that Fail, I think I said in my last update, she is supposed to deliver the Horn of Valir to Matt. But she is transporting it with a bunch of food. And some Aes Sedai someone opens the gateway for them to go through. But they are not sent to where they were supposed to be sent. They are actually sent to the Blights. And that is very dangerous, and they are trying to get out of there, but just people are dying, and then they get attacked, so it's just not going well, and I think that is where I'm at. And yeah, like I said, it's not going well, a lot of things are happening, it's intense, and I'm just, wow. And also, I didn't mention this, but the White Cloaks keep annoying me, because the Ogier were there to help, and they kept saying that they were creatures of the shadow, they were dark friends, and that they were gonna turn on them. And I was just like, shut the fuck up. On the other hand, I am loving like most of the other characters, and like the scenes with Rand and Moiraine talking like before they go to fight the Dark One. I love that. Like, finally, it's what I have been wanting for so long. Just, Rand being grateful that Moiraine exists, basically, and actually, like, tried to help him and save the world. And, like, yes, so happy. I really love that. And, yeah, like, a lot of things are happening, like, all over the place. And it was kind of hard for me to even organize how to say things, but I am really liking it, but I don't feel like it's giving me the 5-star feeling, Like, I'm loving it, but I don't know, like something's missing. But the next chapter I'm gonna read is called The Last Battle, and it's over 220 pages long, like one single chapter. And I mean, I am excited and I am nervous, and yeah, so I will finish the book and I will come back with my final update, my final thoughts, everything. Okay, so I have finished the book. Also, I don't know if you can hear like Christmas music in the background. I have closed the windows, but I can still hear it. So if you can, I am so sorry. But anyway, I have finished A Memory of Lights. So pretty much the first thing we learn in that like huge chapter is that Taim was the one who stole the seals from the Dark One's prison. And then we see Gawain like being the idiot that he is and deciding to like go off and kill like the Forsaken that is with the Sharans, and he's called Dimandred, or however you say it. And he decides to just go off and kill Dimandred on his own. And then like back in the camp, we see Matt and Elaine like strategizing everything, and they know that there is a spy in their camp. So Matt basically wants to use the spy to their advantage. And then he sends a letter to Galad to basically use his white cloaks to go kill the channelers of the Sharans. But then like Galad gets that letter, but then he also learns that his stupid brother Gawain went to fight Dimandred, and so he decides to go there and he finds his brother dying. Shocking, I know. And so, yeah, Gawain does die, and I mean, he always does this thing where he decides to, be the hero and go off, do whatever he thinks he needs to do, and he always fails. So, like, I knew he would fail, firstly because, he was literally going to fight one of the Forsaken, and secondly because that's just who he is, so he dies. And since he is Egwene's warder, she like feels his death, and it's extremely painful, and now she is struggling. And then Galad, who was there so his brother died, decides that he will fight Dimandred. Moving on, we see Siwan going off to fight, and then Min tells her that, she's had a vision that we knew about already, like some books before, that if she doesn't stay with a guy who's called Gareth, I think, they will both die. And Siwan's like, who cares? I need to go fight, because if we don't fight, like if we don't win this, we will all die. So she goes off, and like right after that, she dies. Siwan dies, and it was so like abrupt and fast, and I was just like, what? So yeah, she dies, and Gareth dies as well. Then Fail was captured by people who were there, like they were trying to escape the Blights, and there were people there, and they captured them. And while she was like trying to run away, she realized that she wouldn't be able to. So she gave the horn to Olver, who's like a kid who was kind of adopted by Matt. And she gave the horn to Olver to take to Matt. And then we see that Logain actually gets the seals of the Dark One's prison. And then there's more fighting, and Brigitte dies, which I was devastated with, and Elaine is captured. And then someone else dies, and that someone is like the one person that I knew, because of spoilers, would die, and that was Egwene. But like she died like pretty epically, I guess, because like she closed her eyes and drew in the power, more than a woman should be able to, more than was right, far beyond safety, far beyond wisdom. This sangreal had no buffer to prevent this. Her body was spent. She offered it up and became a column of light, releasing the flame of Tarvalin into the ground beneath her and high into the sky. The power left her in a quiet, beautiful explosion, washing across the Shorans and sealing the cracks created by her fight with Mael. Egwene's soul separated from her collapsing body and rested upon the wave, riding into the lights. And like, it was iconic, but she did die. And I mean, I knew already that she would die, so like it didn't really, hit me because I was expecting it, but it was still very sad because I really liked her now. And pretty much like right after that, Len goes off on his own, which I know I called the other guy an idiot for doing this, but like Len is iconic, so he's just iconic. And he goes off and he actually manages to kill Damondred. And this was like, all of this was in that one huge chapter. Everything that I have talked about until now was in one goddamn chapter. And then after that, like someone blew the horn of Valir, and that someone was not Matt. And I, like many books ago, I wondered that, like when Matt died and came back to life, I wondered if his link to the Horn of Valir had been severed because like he had died, or not because he had come back to life, but apparently it had been severed. And who blew the horn was actually Oliver, the kid who had the horn, and like the heroes of the horn all came back, including Brigitte, because like we didn't know if she was gonna, go back to being a hero of the horn, because she was like pulled out of where she was supposed to be before she was supposed to be pulled out. So we didn't know if she was gonna go back to being like the iconic hero of the horn that she is. But yeah, she's back, she's alive, and I was so happy. And so yeah, basically the heroes start fighting, and yeah, it definitely turns things for them, and the side of the light, our people start winning. And they do win like those battles, so now it's pretty much like up to Rand and the Dark One. Oh, and actually, talking about Rand and the Dark One, this happened like in the huge chapter. They were like showing each other possible futures like to the world if they won. Like the Dark One showed Rand what happened if he won, and Rand showed the Dark One what would happen if he won. Like one of the futures from like Rand's, like if Rand won, it was, not great, because there would be like no darkness, no evil in the world. And so everyone would be different, like no one would be who they actually were. And Rand understood that, maybe that's not the way to go. But anyway, moving on back to where I was. Perrin goes back to the world of dreams and he finally kills Slayer, which was iconic. And also iconic, Patton Fane tries to kill Matt, but Matt actually kills him, which was great. And Patton Fane is just such a creepy character, like from the beginning of the series. He's always like creeped me out, so very glad that he's dead. And then back to Rand, he uses Calendar like the special sword, and like he is, like there's a Forsaken there, and he was kind of fighting her, and so he channels Saidin, and then Morin and Nynaeve, who are like linked to him, channel Saidar, and then he also like forces the true power out of the Forsaken, and so like he combines like all the powers and he uses them against the Dark One. And at the same time, Perrin is still in the world of dreams, and Lanfear is also still in the world of dreams, and she tries to compel Perrin to kill Moiraine while she will kill Nynaeve to basically like weaken Rand. And because that was like her plan all along, she wanted the Dark One to need to be rescued by her. But Perrin breaks free from the compulsion and he kills Lanfear instead, which was so good. And so while Rand is like using all the powers on the Dark One, he sees that the futures that the Dark One showed him would be like wouldn't be true, but the one that he showed would be true. And like I said, he figured that that was not the way to go. So he would not kill the Dark One, but he sealed him up again in the prison, like, properly. And that was pretty much it. Like, most people think that Rand is dead, but he's actually not, and he, like, just wants to get away from all the chaos and go live the rest of his life in peace. And, like, yeah, that's it. It ended, and oh my god, I loved it. But let's just go into my final thoughts.
Okay, so like I said, this book was incredible, insane, but let's just start with the characters like I usually do. And I mean, I guess we can start with Matt and Perrin, who are like my babies, and they were both so incredible in this book. And also, like, Matt's, I didn't mention this because honestly I'm still trying to ignore it because I hate Tuan, but Matt, like, is gonna have a child because Tuan is pregnant. So, like, we can all ignore that and move on to the fact that Matt is iconic and he was, like, leading the whole fights, and yes. And Perrin, like, fighting with the wolves, also iconic. And I mean, he killed Lanfear. How much better can it be? And then moving on to Egwene, like I said, I knew she was gonna die, so it wasn't, like, as sad as it could be if I was caught by surprise, but it was still sad because I really liked her. And, like, if you told me in the beginning of this series that Egwene was gonna die, I was just gonna be like, whatever, I don't care. Like, I hated her, but now I really liked her, so I'm pretty sad actually that she's dead. Like, now that everything has settled and, you know, it's done. I finished it last night actually, and so I'm just like, you know, I've processed it, and yeah, it's pretty sad. Something else that was sad, like Elaine and Brigitte, because I mean, Brigitte did come back to life, but you know, since she died, Elaine can still feel like the death of her warder, so she is, you know, still in pain. And I mean, Brigitte is gonna have to, you know, go back into the world of dreams until she's supposed to be reborn. So yeah, it's sad. It was really sad. It kind of broke my heart because I loved them both so much, and like, I loved their friendship, their bond. It was depressing. But moving on to better things, like Andral, that Asherman that I talked about, he was iconic. He was great. He was also, like, super adorable, and he and his Aes Sedai, like the one that, like, they bonded each other, like, she was Red Aja. She was supposed to hate every man, especially men who channel, but they were so cute, and I love them so much. And like I said, Andral was absolutely iconic. He was incredible. And yes, also speaking of iconic, Len was everything in this book as well. And like, leaving the best for last, I guess, Rand was incredible. Like, he was perfect in this book, and I'm so glad that I really liked him again because, you know, there was a rough patch there during the series that I was worried I was not gonna like Rand, like, ever again, and that I wasn't gonna, not that I wasn't gonna want him to win, because I obviously didn't want the Dark One to win, but, you know, that I wasn't gonna be like, hell yeah, iconic, king, but he was perfect, and I just loved him so much. And honestly, like, I pretty much loved everyone in this book, except, like, the stupid White Cloaks and Tuan and, you know, the Forsaken, like, the bad people. But, like, everybody else, I pretty much loved. And I mean, I loved the book itself because it was so good. Like, there were so many things happening. At the same time, it was, like, chaotic in the best way possible. And there were so many fight scenes. Obviously, like, this whole book was like a huge fight scene, basically. And they were all so good. And we know I love fight scenes. And yeah, I just had such a good time with this book. And I felt all the emotions really. Like, look how many tabs I've got. Like, blue is sadness, green is anger, yellow is happiness, and like orange and pink are kind of like plot related stuff. So yeah, it was incredible. And I said that it wasn't giving me the 5-star feels, but like, in this last third, I definitely got the 5-star feels. So I am rating it 5 stars. And yeah, I finished it. I can't believe I actually finished this series. There was a point there where I thought, you know, I would never get here, but we're here. And now, like, I feel empty because this series has been part of my life for a pretty long time now, and I don't know what to do with myself now. But anyway, that is everything for this week's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!